Chapter 16. No magic. Gawain Robards apparated into Diagon Alley with a team of Aurors at his back. The street was already tense, crowded with witches and wizards, all shopping and talking, oblivious to the forthcoming danger. Robards immediately began directing Aurors to guide people toward the exit at the Leaky Cauldron. He lifted his wand to the side of his neck, ready to announce an evacuation across the alley, when a purple mist suddenly rose from the rooftops all along Diagon Alley. It climbed into the sky in a thick wave, turning the sunlight a deep shade of violet. The entire alley froze. Every person on the street looked up at once. A man near the Aurors tried to apparat and failed, remaining exactly where he stood. "We're trapped," he shouted. Robards looked upward and realized the mist was not falling away. It was hanging there, suspended above them. Ron and Harry stepped back toward the reception desk and spoke with Beatrice. "Did you get the file on Rook?" Harry asked. Beatrice pulled a folder from her desk and handed it over. "Not much in it. He's been a janitor since he was 18. There are 2 addresses listed, though. His apartment and his mother's house. She's deceased." Harry looked to Ron. "We'll split up. I'll go to his mother's house and you go to his apartment. Maybe one of us gets lucky." He hesitated, then added, "And Ron, be careful." Hermione was in a ministry potions lab with several other witches, all of them working on samples of the purple mist. Her comm coin vibrated, and Ron's voice came through. "I'm heading to Rook's apartment," he said. "Is there anything I can do to stop it?" "The mist, I mean. Should I try a bubblehead charm?" Hermione shook her head before answering. "No, magic doesn't work properly in the mist." She thought for a second, then added, "No magic, of course. Wrap a scarf over your mouth and nose so you don't breathe it in. That's what his mask was for. A filter." Ron paused. "And that'll work?" "It should," she said. "Thanks." "You're welcome," Hermione replied. "And Ronald Weasley, please be careful." Ron tapped the coin again and immediately called Harry with the warning. Back in Diagon Alley, Robards had managed to organize the crowd into Gringotts Bank. The purple sky still glowed over the alley, and the mist remained sealed above them like a lid. Aurors were checking every possible point of entry and exit, but the dispersal sources were impossible to locate. "It's like looking for a needle in a haystack," one Auror said. "What do they even look like?" Robards frowned. "I'm not sure. Something out of place." "That's not much to go on," the Auror said. Before Robards could answer, his comm coin began to vibrate. Hermione's voice came through clearly. "We found the mist can exist in 3 forms: a concentrated liquid, a mist when exposed to air, and a harmless powder when combined with the right stabilizer. He could have used a stabilizer to turn it into powder, then a delayed chemical trigger to reactivate it." Robards turned to the Auror beside him. "You heard her. We're looking for containers of purple powder." The Auror blinked. "Who was that?" Robards gave the faintest smile. "Hermione Granger." The Auror hurried off to spread the word. Harry arrived at a small house in Harlow outside London. It was overgrown and neglected, clearly abandoned for years. He pulled a scarf from his shoulder bag, tied it over his face, then draped his invisibility cloak over himself. At the front door, he waved his wand. "Alohomora." The door clicked open. Inside, the sitting room was empty and stale. Harry moved quietly through it, then heard a sound from deeper in the house. He followed it into the next room and stopped. Tobias Rook was there, bent over a table with both hands braced against it, his head lowered and his breathing heavy. On the table sat a photograph of his mother. She was posed formally in the picture, her expression stiff and noble. Then, as Harry watched, her face seemed to shift into a forced smile before settling back into place again. Tobias stared at the photo and spoke to it in a low, bitter voice. "You know I cleaned out your room after you died. Did you know that?" "Of course not. You never saw anything I did." His head dropped again. "I found the box," he said. "The one you said was protected. The one I broke instead of opening. You kept it all those years. Why? As a reminder of your biggest disappointment?" He slammed his fist against the table. "Magic said no. That's what you told me. Magic said no, Tobias. You're not good enough, Tobias. You're not worthy." His voice cracked, but he kept going. "You wanted me to be great? You should have seen what I built. You should have seen Diagon Alley brought to its knees. Not by magic. By me. A squib. Your useless son." Ron apparated 2 blocks away from the ministry and arrived at a rundown apartment complex reserved for squibs. It was cheap housing, ministry subsidized, and it looked like it. He checked the address Beatrice had written down, then looked up at the building. "5th floor," he muttered. When he stepped inside, the common area was full of people doing laundry, carrying parcels, and minding their own business. Cats moved everywhere, weaving between chairs and doorways. The moment Ron entered, the room changed. "Auror," someone muttered. People didn't run, but they withdrew quickly, returning to their units and shutting doors behind them. Ron shook his head as he climbed the stairs. Squibs. On the 5th floor, he found apartment 505. He wrapped a scarf over his mouth and nose, then opened the door with his wand. The flat was a single cramped studio, with a hot plate for a kitchen and a bed taking up most of the room. No one was inside. A small closet in the back had a bedsheet hanging across it like a curtain. Ron pulled the curtain aside. Inside sat a silver box labeled Magic Detonator. Silver buttons marked with runes covered the top. "That doesn't look good," he said. Outside Gringotts, 2 Aurors stood guard while Robards monitored the situation from inside. So far, the mist had remained concentrated over Diagon Alley, blocking all exits and trapping everyone in the bank. The fear in the room was almost tangible. Then Robards heard tapping at the window. The Aurors outside were waving him out. He stepped through the bank doors and looked up. The mist above Diagon Alley had begun to churn. It was gathering energy, swirling tighter and tighter until it suddenly dropped. It looked, for one terrible moment, as if the sky itself was falling. It came down fast, stopping somewhere above the rooftops, only a short distance lower than before. Robards' face went white. The Aurors opened the bank doors and rushed inside. Robards followed more slowly. "We can't stop it," he said. Inside Rook's apartment, Ron inspected the box when one of the metal buttons suddenly popped up. The entire thing vibrated once, then went still. Ron frowned. "I didn't even touch you." He pulled out his comcoin. "Gawain Robards," he said. "I'm at Rook's apartment. He's got some sort of device called a magic detonator, and one of the buttons was activated." A moment later, the coin vibrated in reply. Robards' voice came through, tense and urgent. "The sky is falling over here in Diagon Alley," he said. "Everyone's trapped in Gringotts. We're running out of time. Sounds like you found the controls for the mist cloud. Can you shut it down?" Ron swallowed. "It's automatic. I can't even read the runes on the buttons. What if I make it worse?" The coin buzzed again. "If you can remove it," Robards said, "get it to Granger at the Ministry. She's in the potions lab." Ron tucked the coin away and grabbed the box from the closet shelf. It lifted with no resistance at all. He apparated to the Ministry. Outside the Ministry, Ron remembered one more thing and pulled out the coin again. "Harry Potter," he said. "Everyone in Diagon Alley is trapped under a mist cloud. I've got the box controlling it from Rook's apartment. I'm bringing it to the Ministry to see if they can use it to stop the mist. How's it going there?"